Okay, okay. I can't help it. Sometimes I want to make reaction videos. I wish I had the gear to do all that kind of stuff. I was watching a video just now about a woman that had gone over, and it's like a 4-day-old video where she had gone over to England or some portion of Britain and was discussing pro-life and had like signs and wanted to talk to people and record it. And I thought it was really interesting, the perspective of these white privileged individuals that think that they can have an opinion on someone else's reality and body. No. That's the same thing with why they cut out abortion right now in the United States so that they could, repopulate. You should have exams. You should have scheduled classes and sessions for people that are going to have children. Instead, she was talking about how it's sort of what is it called? Eugenics, something like that, where you're cutting out the stupid and the weak and the meager, or that's exactly what should happen. I mean, if you don't regulate the populace, if you don't regulate all of that, then you're doing a disservice to the human race. If you're allowing a bunch of cripples, which in my opinion I'm a cripple as well, so why would I have the privilege to procreate, to create life? Yet I'm doing so forcibly by someone that I don't know, that I met one time. And you're going to tell me that I should think of the baby, when in actuality no one is thinking about the care, the resources for the mother in order to care for this baby. Neither are you going to step in with your white privilege and all the privileges that you have personally. Are you going to sit there and rear these children that are unwanted? Are you going to sit there and put out of pocket and give the emotional support and be there daily and wipe their ass? I didn't think so. I didn't think so. And I know that I'm very vulgar sometimes, but it's hilarious. How can these people, especially other women, try to discourage someone into removing another life when that life would do nothing but pain and suffer for its entire existence? And I'm proof of that. My mother didn't want me. She hid me from the world, and no one knew she was even pregnant until she had me a month early. And I was her third child of 5. And I ended up sustaining so much trauma that I am literally classified as a disabled citizen due to my post-traumatic stress disorder, amongst other mental issues, because of the fact that I wasn't raised properly. And if my mother could have aborted, she should have aborted, since all of her children ended up being just, what is the word? Like smudges, smears, tainted marks against the system and society, doing nothing but taking and being greedy, and also ending up violating others and being aggressive toward others, robbing, and doing things that were shady and backhanded and unlawful. So what you're saying is everyone has the right to be that way. So I see it from all perspectives. I do. I understand that we want to have children. Children are wonderful. They're a miracle. They're a gift from God. I mean, I'm very hyper, religious in that way, spiritual, understanding. Everyone should have their purpose. Everything conception, it starts from the beginning. But where in this 9 months can you tell me that some miraculous event has happened to where I've been easily sustained? No, I've been living out of my vehicle. So little Miss White Privilege over there in her hotel rooms, going around to different countries and not even realizing what these women have to go through, the mutilation of their body, because she chose to use condoms. She chose to use preventative measures. Well, some of us did also, like abstaining, like me, abstaining from it, doing the good thing of just keeping to myself, keeping my hands and feet and pussy to myself. And and I know I say things very, very darkly, you know, like very, very sort of callously, and I'm very harsh, yeah. But it's a harsh world out there. So if you're gonna sit there and say we can't abort these babies when they come up in this process where all we are just a number, take your ticket and sit down. We'll feed you your slop whenever you come in, you know, to the line. And sometimes you'll starve a little bit, but that's okay because you're just part of the system. But then all of these white privileged young ladies growing up believing everyone's got a choice. Look at me and my fancy university certificate because my parents had the allotment for me. I'm sorry, not everyone's parent has the allotment for them. So you need to see it from everyone's perspective. Stop being all pro-life when in actuality we should all be just pro-choice. Like, you don't understand how hard it is for these individuals to get any type of... God doesn't save like that. It's no miracle. They say you've got to place the effort into feeding from their slop troughs, you know, that we're just supposed to get in line like the rest of the cattle, and you're going to sit there and tell us how we should run our lives? Excuse me, what? In the last 2 years, what have I accomplished? 2-3 years. Maybe 4 at the most. I lost 150 pounds, was on my own, was living in my vehicle for a year and a half without anybody's assistance aside from my disability allotment, which wasn't much, less than $1,000 monthly. And even with the restraints in the financial deficits that I was going through, I still managed to maintain better than a majority of these young ladies that believe that it's not okay to violate a baby or a puppy. I saw a veterinarian rip 2 living puppies out of a dog that was about to get spayed, and she tossed them in the trash can. They were still breathing. Trying to. They were, you know, they were still active. I've seen some horrific things. And from a little white girl perspective, because a majority of the time when I would straighten my hair, no one realized that I was half Mexican. And that's why I got away with being, you know, little Miss White Privilege, especially in like my family, because a lot of them are darker than I, because I have green eyes, because I don't seem as though I would be Hispanic in any way until a tanto de hablar en español y me oyen y ¿cómo se dice? Se oye muy bien, como si estuve como de allá, pero se me olvida unas palabras porque no tengo con nadie con hablar en español, entonces se me falta. But anyway, for me, I feel like I just can't get my point across. I can't get my point across to save my goddamn life and to save my child's life. So the fact that they stole abortion from us, that's fucking horrendous. The fact that I chose not to abort this child, yes, I had an abortion once when I was approximately 21 years old, because the guy told me that we would be together forever. He coerced me. He forced me into doing it because I don't believe in that. I was raised in a Catholic school, went to that till I was in the 8th grade, and I realized, you know, I didn't want to be that little slutty whore. So I didn't do that. I had like one boyfriend in high school, one boyfriend. And then even then, the only reason that I sought out any kind of sexual comfort was because I had been violated by my father and brother growing up. So I ended up sustaining a lot more trauma than a lot of these little white girls that I went to school with that have the opportunity and the luxury to judge others and reign over with their opinions. And I think, well, you know, I let everybody be. I say, let everyone have their choice. Let everyone be themselves. And also, too, babies, yeah, they're just babies. But who's going to tend to the baby if they don't have the choice later on because they're fed the slop? They're fed in line. They're given all this stuff. That, like, my life is not a cakewalk. It is not. It is extremely hard to look even this good. Because look at the rest of my family members. All disheveled, all just worn out because the world doesn't allot you things, or so they say. They say you're born into this world. You have to pay for your birth. You have to pay for being born. Like your parents have to do that. And if you can't, then the government takes you. What the hell? I have no home for this baby. I'm forced to have to realize, shit, I should have aborted it to avoid all this extra emotional trauma that I'm going to have to sustain for having to give up this child because I'm homeless. Like, and I love kids. I'm not a horrible person. I've seen some shit. I've done some shit even, and I've lived to tell the tale. And it's like, I don't believe abortion's going to save a woman emotionally, unless, of course, it was rape on that time. With me, it wasn't rape. I was consensual, so I lost a child that I loved. And then with this child inside of me, I consider that rape because I was asleep when the motherfucker got it in. So, and I don't mean to say it like that. It's very vulgar, but it's the truth. It's the godly truth. What am I supposed to do? Retract the truth? I'm sorry. No, I can't do that. That's not who Leticia is. So I just don't understand people. I don't. I've been praying for a family my entire life. I've been praying for salvation. I've been praying for, having children. And I understand that she had made a comment too about conspiracy, that there is a group of elite that are controlling population. I completely agree with that. And I completely agree, but she said something that was very, closed-minded, and said that they don't keep track of women. They don't keep track of the statistics. They keep track of every individual that has had their, children ripped out of them. That's a certain form of mental instability as well, that they keep track of, or mental fragility, I would say. I wouldn't say instability. I would say that everybody has their reasoning behind it. And they keep track of these things to see who should repopulate and who should not. It's just how it is. They have statistics on each one of us. We all have a permanent record. We all have our educational, medical, criminal, military, all of these records. So whatever you believe that the world's not being monitored, go for it. But I say, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. I'm literally going to be 38 weeks pregnant in 2 days. Where's this little white girl offering people like this baby the salvation, right? It is this far along. They're still going to put it in the system. It's going to end up suffering way worse than had it not, had it been removed. So, and that's sad because I didn't seek this out. I literally did not seek it out. There were so many times that I had the opportunity to weasel my way into a relationship through having a child with someone. This is not one of those times. This is not one of those instances where the girl is trying to be manipulative or lie about the circumstance. No, I just thought, let's have a relationship, with someone. And so that's why I was dating. I would meet them. Sure, we would sleep next to each other, but really nothing happened. I don't know why men think that, like, oh yeah, she spent the night. We didn't do anything. I snored in your ear. Like, your bad breath was disgusting, so I turned my back to you. People are so funny. People are so funny. I'm telling you. So anyway, that's my rant for this morning. I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. People with their white privilege, where they believe that they are they have too much time on their hands. What are you doing with your life that you're going around just, inhibiting others from making their own choices? I made my own choice. I mean, yeah. And I ended up having a daughter. She ended up getting taken from me because my ex-husband was vindictive and he left me with 2 loaded guns and wanted me dead. I mean, we all get our karma. And I thought that was my karma for having aborted. And then I'm just like, what? Why more children when there's actually a 4th baby. That was right after the abortion baby. Same first dude, right? Because we had still been playing with each other. I didn't see it as playing. I was in love with that person, and that's how it's been in my life, because I feel like a relationship, but you just shouldn't have sex before marriage. I'm just saying, like, you really shouldn't have sex with these fools, because the more you give them, the more you give men, the more opportunity they have to just run around and chase after everything because they want a little bit of this and that because they're visual, and the stimulation, it's just overwhelming for them. So even the fact that I don't flirt with them, they see something else. They see something completely different. I had no idea. And then even like if it was just a little bit of cleavage showing, or if I purposely would wear something like this around, and just to fuck with people, because you can't touch me, you're not supposed to touch me. But then of course they've got all these like different ways of trafficking women anyway. Excuse me. Like through the dating apps, they track women who, and also through your menstrual apps and everything to keep track of your menses. They do that. I mean, I swear to God, it's not a conspiracy. It's like they're trying to repopulate. It's freaking me out to think of that, because I read a couple articles about it as well, about how our private information is not technically private, so like our innermost thoughts are being sort of exposed. And I'm like, yes, I wanted a baby, but not like this, not like this at all. I wanted like an actual excuse me, I just smoked, but I was really upset, and now I feel better and I'm like calming down. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, and the baby had its own rights. I shouldn't have been smoking. I feel terrible about that. Like, I wish I could have refrained, but everything in this world is toxic anyway, like the air we breathe and the water around us. Why don't you put efforts toward that instead of trying to population control? Anyway, but yeah, that's true. That's a whole concept of why we had the plague and how we had to, wipe off some of the weaker ones. And that's why I haven't come in contact with COVID. I mean, I have, obviously. I've been in and out of facilities. I went to fucking jail. But I still don't have COVID, which is odd to me, because although I switched over right before the pandemic happened, I switched my lifestyle and I started eating a plant-based diet a few months before the pandemic hit. And then I ended up... because I smoked medicinal marijuana as well, and that has actually been proven to be beneficial with all of this. You can see the records and the documentation, the research they've done, the studies, where it actually helps to sort of degrade cancer cells, and so sort of wiping them out, any kind of diseases and whatever. I have done that. And still, people had asked me, are you going to get your flu shot? Are you going to get your COVID shots? Well, now I know somebody personally that I care for very much, and he got 3 sets of one of the brands, and he's got half of his face is paralyzed. And he's, of course, in and out of whatever's going on, everything physically and, and his mental health. Even in that, his memory, I think that a lot of it is lapsing because of these shots. And I tried to tell people when they came out that you shouldn't just go straight for that, because there were a lot of recalls for these shots and a lot of issues that came from them. So I've been very avoidant to get locked up anymore, because I feel like, stop giving me random shots. Stop telling me this random stuff. Please leave me alone. I've been avoidant of everything and everyone, and I think that that's the reason why I am so healthy. I don't understand it. And this child should have probably fallen out of me months ago because of all the stress, and I started having even Braxton Hicks contractions at approximately 4 or 5 months along because of all the stress, because I have nowhere to put this baby. And where's God's miracle there? Where's every pro-lifer now? I chose that, and where's the blessing, huh? Roll my eyes at that. I'm trying to be a good girl, and I can't, because it's like, no, Leticia, you're so bad. You're so bad. You flirt. You showed a little cleavage. You had a couple slutty pictures. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. I'm so condescending sometimes. So, I make myself laugh, and that's all that matters. I love myself, and that's all that matters. And God loves me. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a lovely week. Let's pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who've trespassed against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. And I believe in everybody's religion and everybody's freedom of religion, because everything is a higher frequency and vibration anyway. So if you don't like my prayers, then don't watch them. But for me, it's just sort of giving everybody, a little bit of what my perspective is. That's how I keep myself smiling. That's how I keep myself going, because I have to detach. I have to think about something else. Everything else is shit. Everything else is just so evil, like around this, in this reality. And so I have to do this stuff in order to protect my whatever's left of my sanity. But anyway, that's why I make these videos. And I don't actually have anything to talk about. I just talk about what's relevant to me at that moment. And Jesus, 38 weeks pregnant in 2 days. Jesus, save me. Save us. This is not right. And I told everyone I'm not keeping it, because it was born out of, it was conceived out of wedlock. So it was nothing but lust. So I know damn well that that's the devil trying to lure me into a trap of having this emotional attachment toward the child. So, and there's no place, there's no financial support, there's nothing. So having gone through all of this pain, having lost a child already that was 3.5 years old when she was ripped away from me after I breastfed, placed all efforts, organic diet, everything. That didn't seem fair. And then so this, I thought, well, if there's a chance that I could find a proper housing, if I could maintain it, I could still breastfeed and I would be able to take care of it, maintain it. But I'm not worthy of that, because I sought out resources and they just didn't exist for someone like me. Because I asked for too much. I asked for clean water. I asked for clean air. I asked for all these things that are just lavish luxuries that aren't basic necessities. Well, I'm sorry. They expected me to find a house or an apartment for $475 a month in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and that's all I was allotted. So, because of my disability allotment, because that's all I do, because everyone presumes that I could be capable of a job. And at this point in my life, I have snapped. There's nothing left. There's no effort that wants to be placed into anything, because when I did place efforts, everything got taken anyway. I lost my home, all of my pets and my belongings a few years ago due to my ex-husband and him saying that I harassed his communications for trying to reach out to see my kid. Interesting. Interesting how the world works and how you get reprimanded if you speak up about your ailments. So yeah, I do believe in abortion, and I wish I would have been aborted, because then it would have saved me all this suffering, saved me all this confusion, because in the long run, what am I doing? I just wasted 9 months on a baby that I won't be able to keep, that I'm going to have to relinquish because the father was never around. Because I met him one time, and from me and my religious perspective, I have to give it up, because there's no way in hell that you'd catch Leticia raising some bastard baby. And I know that that's so offensive, but the definition of it is a child born out of wedlock. So I'm sorry, little bastard baby. I love you very much. I would have been a great mom to you. My daughter, she was adorable, and we had a great time. I wish I would have caught that on film. She was just the cutest. I caught a lot of photos. I don't have those photos anymore. I had to give them up, because there's no resources for anybody like me, or my child, or my offspring. So abortion it is, I wish I could abort myself right now. I just, bloop, all gone. And they're like, oh, well, how horrific. You pull it out in pieces. Isn't that what they do? Pull us apart limb from limb, looking for that last penny, looking for that last dime, because that's how we're supposed to survive? working a 9 to 5, doing all these nonsensical things every day instead of focusing on our overall physical and mental health? No, because we all have a price tag. We all have to get to that price tag. We got to work it off because, like I stated, the moment we're born, we owe. How does that make any sense? So why is it that they're contradicting themselves? What hypocrites? What hypocrites? You're going to sit there and talk about everyone should get a choice in life. Well, where's their ticket? Where's their money? Where's their allotment every month so that they can afford that life? Then go to Britain and talk to, look at me with my sign. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's hilarious to me. I bust out laughing. I just can't. You're serious. And how many views these people get. It's just absurd. Anyway, I love you very much. This is someone that's real. This is somebody that's true. If you met me face to face, you would see. I don't lie. I have to capture everything because everyone thought I was a little manipulative monster because of what everyone else was stating. So I start having to capture everything on film. Excuse me, what? Excuse me. Check, please. What are you talking about? You literally flipped around the rape charges and said that I falsified it, which is a felony offense. You scared the shit out of me, put me in jail at 7 months pregnant so that I have no emotional attachment to this child. I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing, and if they don't like you, they really don't like you, and they want to fuck you over until you're dead and buried. But then they'll still dig you up and research to just pull you apart. Interesting. Wow. I love everybody. Have a blessed day. Today is August 17th, I believe. 2022. Leticia Collins Servin. I hope everybody's doing well and everybody is not, thinking these crazy thoughts that I have to think every day. The confusion every single day. I love you very much. Bye-bye.